Hey, it's Joseph here. In my last camera review video, I have gone over a custom rig that I have used for my Canon M5, and I have gotten a couple of questions from the viewers asking if they can somehow buy these from me. I actually don't really think these hold much value, and instead of selling it off, I thought maybe why don't I put out a guide out there for you guys to follow to make any sort of rig like this if you wanted to make one for yourself to suit your need. So this specific rig or plate that I have created is the one that I have used for Canon M5. I just have a rubbery soft material here so that it doesn't rub against the camera, and I just lock that down. It's a typical thumb screw or D-ring that you buy for the tripods. It's cheaply available on Amazon, so I'll leave a link in the description. All you do is just kind of tighten it down. If you have a screwdriver or a coin, you can use that as well, and then just grab a handheld tripod like this one, and I'm just gonna mount to one of these 3 holes that are available. In my case, I'm gonna go for the center one. However, if your tripod is something bulkier, then you probably want to go for the last spot, which will have a lesser support. And then once it is mounted, you can just lower your screen. So let me just turn on the camera and take the lens cover off. So you can start to see the screen. I can just do a selfie mode and see myself in there as well. And whilst doing so, it also clears the battery spot as well, so I can actually open that without a problem. And also it needs to be long enough so that it holds the tripod without a problem. So this custom rig just worked out fine for me. However, I moved on to Canon M50, which has a screen on the side, so I don't really need this anymore. However, I wanted to share this information so anyone who's using Canon M5, or even if you're using Canon M50, if you want to utilize the battery door whilst having a tripod on, this is actually a good alternative that you can have. So let's just go over how I have gone about making one of these. I have a rubber soft material that's gonna rub against the camera. The fact that this is made out of metal, it's gonna leave some scratches. So I want a soft material against the camera, and then I have a little bit of cutouts for it so I can have this 1/4" thread screw in there, and also 3 holes depending on the size of your tripod. But the center one here fits my purpose just fine. So this big hole is not the one that I created. It already came with the hole when I bought this plate and cut it to the size. Did everything fine. This one was the one that I use all the time. However, I made another prototype, let's say. Whilst the other one was made out of steel, this one is actually made out of aluminum, so it's much lighter and actually is much easier to cut and create a hole because this metal is kind of more brittle, so it's not gonna be as robust. I feared that it's gonna bend if there's a lot of force to it, but I think it's holding up just fine. I just have this one here. You can order this off of Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to follow. In this one I use a grinder to cut, but this one I just use a regular handsaw to cut it to the size. So it was much longer piece, and then I just kind of cut it to the size. So here is the saw that I have used to cut this, and then just kind of sand it down the corner so that it's not as sharp, and then just create the holes. However, you need to create a thread for these holes, otherwise these things won't screw in properly. And the tool that you're going to use for creating a thread is called tapper or tap, and basically it is calling out for this tool right here. It's gonna create a thread for you by just screwing this thing in. So you would use a drill to create a hole with this bit here, and then you're gonna drive this thing in so that you create a thread. So it's gonna say something like 1/4" -20, which is the one that you typically see for camera gears. So this is a useful one to have if you are a little bit of DIYer using a camera gear. So I have bought this off of Home Improvement Store. However, if you want to buy from Amazon, I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to follow as well. And once you use a drill to create a hole, and then you're gonna need a hand wrench or a hand tap wrench for you to drive this into the hole. However, in my case, I didn't really need that because I can just use this adapter for a square hole here, and then I can just adapt this way. It's kind of flimsy and wonky, but it just works just fine for the purpose. Otherwise, you can just buy that as well. I'll leave a link in the description. So let me just put this aside. And then also don't forget a piece of sandpaper, because any metal that you end up cutting, even if you're creating a hole, it's gonna be quite sharp. So you wanna make sure you use a sandpaper so that it doesn't cut you in any way or leave a scratch on your expensive gears. Maybe it's a good idea for you to prepare a template like this. I just use a cardboard from Amazon, and I'm just gonna use this one to create a metal piece together. However, since I've made one and tested, I thought I can make a digital version which I can share with you. My other expertise in 3D modeling allow me to do so, so I was able to create actual 3D model for it. You can take the dimension and make one for yourself, and if you want a actual digital copy so you can just kind of print and use as your template, then you can join as my Patreon, which will be $1 a month, and I'll be able to send you a copy of this PDF to you. So after that, I have made this template here, so I need to cut this into a smaller piece so I can use it against the camera. So I need to create holes on the ones that I plan on drilling in, and then I'm just gonna put it against the camera and see if that is going to work indeed. And also a pro tip, if you have it, just use very small bit to land the hole in the right spot first, and then use much thicker bit afterwards, so that it'll help you to make precise hole. So for this aluminum, if I were to add the pad, it should be working just fine. Hopefully that will help you out as well. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to continue watching these type of contents. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.